Well, I think it's fair to say that 2025 is well and truly on fire. Here we are. We've got political posturing going on. We've got markets crashing. We've got kind of Cold War happening. We've got real war going on. We've got a lot of fear kicking up, a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, unknown. Oh my God, what do we do with this? I have a lot of astrology pointers for us today. I've been watching this astrology since the beginning of the year, and going 2025 is going to be a thing. Like, we are going to really be in for some shock and awe in 2025. And I remember kind of speaking it and just looking at it like, oh, I wonder how this is going to play out. Like, oh, and then I would get to like the next month, like, oh, and then you go to a little further and you're like, oh, kind of like the hits just keep on coming in 2025. And also knowing we were going to be pretty okay-ish until those March eclipses. And here we are, just past the March eclipses. We're about a week-ish past those March eclipses, and we're in it. We are in it. So what's the point of this conversation? Why stick around? Why be here? What is this going to do for you? To me, this is like a roadmap to what the fuck is going on out in the world. It's a roadmap that is not political. It is not inflammatory. It is more, here, let's look at this amazing tool, astrology, that doesn't choose sides. It just kind of gives you, here's the weather energetically, astrologically, that we're in, and how can we work with it? So to me, this is like having like a sneaky life cheat sheet into what's going on now, how to support ourselves through this, and then what's coming. So that's the three things that we're going to look at, is what's going on now, how can we support ourselves in this, and what's coming down the road in 2025. I've got some real good insights for us. A lot of insights that I'm actually really using in my own personal life based on the astrology, and I'm also using to make business decisions in ReWilding. So I'll share some of that with you in an effort to support you, give you some tools that can really guide you through the rest of the year. All right, let's dive into this and let's have a little bit of fun with this. So I think no matter how dire times can be or how horrible we can feel, I think that there is always this possibility of attuning to hope versus despair, of attuning to joy and attuning to, I'm going to use these words, I don't know why, mystical madness, right? There is a higher level of consciousness that we can always access that kind of sees from bird's eye view and goes, wow, and this too is perfect. And this too is perfect. And if I can attune to the perfection of this moment and I can become a co-creator, this is what I'd love to really give us a lot of tools around, is if I can become a co-creator with this moment in time, I am so empowered to create an amazing life. No matter what's going on, no matter how much money I just lost in the market, really and truly, no matter the fact that I just lost my job. I'm not kidding. I know this is not Pollyanna bullshit. This is mystical mind. This is seeing life from a higher vantage point, a higher perspective, making choices from this deeply wise self and going, and this too is perfect. And how do I operate with it? How do I co-create with this in an extraordinarily empowered way? Just feel that for a quick moment before I dive into all these details. This, you being so incredibly empowered in this moment in time, like fucking off the outside influences, right? This like wave of collective fear, wave of, like psyche, like mongering, just like mongering our energetic fields and our psychic space, getting all that stuff out of there and being extraordinarily empowered and going, and this is perfect. This is divinely designed, this wild ass astrology that's requiring deep transformation, and transformation ain't pretty. It's easy to say old systems are crumbling. We've been saying that for years now. And then when they start crumbling, we're like, oh my God, freaking out. I don't know. Are we buying toilet paper yet? Like, are we in like the 2020 craze of, oh my God, I need to buy toilet paper. What's the thing? I know it was like, we need to attack Tesla. That to me was like it's not like buying toilet paper, but like, what are the collective waves that are going to hit us? P.S. Neptune having just moved into Aries. Yeah. And he's going to go back into Pisces. back into Aries again a couple times. This points to collective psychic waves hitting us. And so that's one thing of the themes. I want to give us some really good themes to look out for, to pay attention to work with, really. And one of them is really clearing out our psychic space, having really good psychic hygiene. Now, I know some of you listening, you're like letting that just kind of like go right in one ear and out the other ear, right? Or right over your head, like, not really for me. Well, that's practice one. I'm going to give us a ton of practices because I think this is a moment in time where like we need to take such good care of ourselves. It's like self-care up-leveled, like self-care like you've never taken care of yourself, whatever that means for you, because it will be very different for you. But one of those up-leveling of self-care aspects is, what are you doing for your psychic hygiene? What are you doing for your psyche, your energy body? These energy bodies are getting ever more permeable. They're getting ever more sensitive, more and more of this interconnectedness being influenced and affected by more and more and more and more and more and more. The veils are getting much, much thinner between self and other, and we're being much more influenced by what we read, the environment we're around, somebody's mood. And so we want to adjust to that as our own energy beings, our own psychic health, psychic hygiene, thought pattern hygiene. I remember reading a book called, what was it, like Viruses of the Mind? Yeah. And just like, wow, how incredibly powerful these are. And what do we do to take care of ourselves in this? So, all right, let me come out of that little bit of a rabbit hole and come back to what I wanted to start us into this conversation with, is this empowered piece. So imagine you're unplugging from all of that stuff, right? The collective quagmire, and you're standing in a very empowered place. And it's a very empowered place of this moment in time is fucking perfect. Now, this is theme number 2, not playing victim of circumstance, but playing co-creator with life in this moment, not wishful thinking of life how it was, or life how it should be, or life in 10 years that's just a dreamy, fanciful thinking. It's life now. Life now. I kept saying at the beginning of this year, this is going to be a year of making lemonade out of lemons. I'm really watching that in my life. Like, and that's a lemon, and that's a lemon, because so much is changing. It was right, but then so much has shifted and changed that now it's okay, need to be able to make what is now a lemon into lemonade. That's another theme that I'll talk about, is this being so flexible, being very, very flexible, adaptable, and able to adjust and pivot to what's coming at us. And that's going to remain through all of 2025. Okay, this is a really long intro. I have so much that I want to give, though, around the themes and around the practices, but we'll kind of weave. I think it's time to shift into some of the specifics in the astrology. Biggest one. This is huge, and everyone had been talking about this. Every single planet changes signs in 2025. I know, we've heard it a million times, but now we're seeing what the fuck that means. I'm sorry that I'm swearing. I'm a little fired up about this, right? We're seeing what it means. We're seeing the clinging. We're seeing the holding on to the old. We're seeing, I heard these words in another podcast, and it was, we're seeing the dinosaurs. What was it? I want to get these words right because it was so good. Basically, the dinosaurs gorging on each other. I think that was how it was spoken. I'm trying to read it. I don't even know if I wrote it down in my notes. I'm looking like I did. I probably did not. But we're seeing the old dinosaurs gorging on each other, and you can kind of fill in the blanks for what that might mean from your perspective and what you're seeing. But if we kind of come into this kind of first astrological theme of 2025, every planet's changing signs. These outer planets changing signs is a big, big deal because it's territory we've never seen before. Neptune just moved into Aries. You've never seen that. I've never seen that. The last time it was there was 165 years ago. We don't know what that feels like in our systems, and that's kind of groundbreaking. It's kind of earth-shattering. It kind of really rocks our base chakras. Now let me weave into a little practice here. Safety, security is rocked. It is rocked and is going to continue to be rocked in 2025. So for those of you who work chakras, you work energy centers, or you even kind of work safety, security in different ways, like inner child work can be really good around this time. Base chakra work, really doing what is necessary to help yourself feel safe and secure in the change, in the turmoil, in the chaos, in when foundations rattle, right? When I oftentimes like to think of it as like tectonic plates are shifting beneath our feet. That's Pluto having moved into Aquarius. That already happened. That's Neptune moving into Aries. That's Saturn moving into Aries. That's Uranus moving into Gemini. Y'all, this is intense and it's speeding up. They're not going into earth, water signs, slower signs. They're going into fire and air signs. This is speeding things up and it's heightening anxiety. Our nervous systems, you're seeing all that stuff out in social media, you know, how to co-regulate your nervous system. Yeah, that's the times we're living in because our safety, security has shaken. Our tectonic plates beneath us are shifting. Those of us who are going to thrive in this time, here's another little like tip, like a theme for this time. Those of us who are going to thrive in this time have gotten we have a really healthy relationship to change. And you might want to feel into that. How can I, you know, even for those of us who feel like we have a healthy relationship to change, how can I come into next right relationship to change and transformation? Can I cling less? Can I be more open-minded? Can I welcome the unknown? Can I say prayer or mantra or meditation where it's welcoming in the unknown? It's not this old clinging onto what is known. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that in the world. We're probably feeling that in ourselves of like, well, this is known though, so it feels a little safe and secure when everything in 2025 is pushing us into the unknown. Every planet changing signs within a year. Like Pluto went in 2024, but the end of 2024. So it's really within a year. Like we're getting rocked. Now, let me go into point number 2 with the astrology. So that's one is every sign's changing, which means tectonic plates are shifting, which means certain aspects of you will, let me just feel for this, certain aspects of you will need to learn how to operate differently. Let me say that again, because this is really important. This is a huge theme. And this is why transformation and change and having good relationship to that is going to help us thrive. It's not just survive, it's thrive. This is the new human. People are talking all about the new human. Yeah, yappity, yap. It's really easy to talk about the new human. And then when suddenly your shit's changing, your brain is thinking differently, we're freaking out. So we don't have to freak out though, right? Like we're talking about this so that we don't have to freak out, so that we can come into next right relationship with change, with transformation. We can welcome in the unknown, right? One of the really beautiful key things is, I'll give you a couple little mystical things. One is, I love this one. And it's really the older that I get, the more that I know nothing. The older I get, you know, when I was in my 20s, I thought I knew everything. Like I was sure about fucking everything. You know, I knew like politics, religion, I knew. And the older I get now, 45, I know that I know nothing. And I know that everything is constantly changing. Just wait around a year, Sabrina, and your thoughts about that are going to completely change. You're going to change. So it's having this relationship with not needing to know, or not needing it to be known, or not needing it to be same, or not needing it to be so consistent, stable. This is a year of instability. I hate to say it, but find the stable in the little. Find the security in the little things. You know, like I make a veggie juice like every day, right? Like there's stability. I go hike in these mountains in Nevada every morning. So it's little things that really can help, we could say co-regulate our nervous system, or we could say really help to give us a sense of balance, a sense of safety, a sense of surety in absolute uncertainty and unsurety when we're in such deep transformation. Let me give you another like mystical little bit of wisdom, that I know nothing piece. Like all the mystics will say that. And then another piece is this beginner's mind, like having beginner's mind, being so curious. Like, what if you were to shift into a state of curiosity? Who am I changing into? Who am I changing into? How is my life changing? How, like this awe-inspired state of curiosity, because that's on offer. It's literally on offer, and it's just a choice in a quick moment of like, let me just be really curious about this. I'm so beginner's mind. It's a powerful, powerful mystical tool that pretty much every mystical tradition will point to. All right. So let's come back to this astrology point number 2. We just said point 1, all 7 planets are changing signs. Big fucking deal. Point 2, they are dancing over this end of Pisces, beginning of Aries, right? That's the 0 point of the zodiac. Y'all, this is a big deal. 2 of them, well, actually 4 of them, well, 5, North Node, if we count North Node, are dancing over this. Right now, as I'm recording this is like the end of the first week in April. It's April 8th. Mercury and Venus were retrograde, going back over, I'm going to call this 0 point of the zodiac. Some people call it it's like the world axis point, right? It's the Aries point. I'm going to call it 0 point of the zodiac for a very specific reason. It's like creation point, 0 point, creation point. This is crazy powerful. Now, the North Node moved over this point when it went from Aries into Pisces. We now have the North Node in Pisces. That's where these eclipses were, right? These eclipses, well, the last eclipse was on the Aries, blah, blah. We're getting stuck in the weeds here. But let me just talk about this 0 point. So the North Node went over it. Then Mercury and Venus crossed from Pisces into Aries, retrograded back into Pisces. Mercury's turned direct. Venus will turn direct in a couple days. They're going to go back over that 0 point into Aries. Now, this makes it personal as fuck. I know I'm swearing again. I'm sorry. I'm really passionate about this. It makes it extremely personal. Like when we talk outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, yeah, they are going to affect our lives deeply. They're going to touch our lives. But when it comes to the mind, Mercury, and the heart, Venus, we feel that. We are consciously aware of that to a different degree. So we had these eclipses. One eclipse was on the Pisces Virgo axis, and one eclipse was on the Aries Libra axis. So those last eclipses in March, right? March 28th and March 14th, those last eclipses, they smashed us. They smashed us on the 0 point. They literally straddled 0 point. 0 point is creation point. It is endings, beginnings. It's bigger endings for bigger beginnings. And it's kind of going like, yeah, we'll work in the energetic realms, and then this is going to take a little while to ripple down into the physical. So just feel into that. Like, yep, it's happened in the energetic realm. It's happened in the energetic realm. But now it's going to take a minute to start to ripple down and make it into denser energetics, which would be like physical form. Denser energetics, like making it into the body, making it into your relationships, making it into your home life. It takes a little while for it to move down, but it's like those shifts are happening. Mercury and Venus dancing over them, it's helping us on a very personal level to adjust and attune, and it might not feel good. It might, like these last couple weeks might not feel super great. It might be very confusing and very chaotic and all the things, but they're really helping us to, it's like the great reset. You can kind of think of 2025 as the great reset. So that 0 point, not only do Mercury and Venus both do a retrograde dance over that 0 point, so they'll cross it 3 times. Saturn, no, let me go with Neptune. Neptune just crossed over it on March 30th. Neptune crossed over it. Saturn will cross over it in May. So we're in April. Saturn will cross over it in about 6 weeks from now, 7 weeks from now. Saturn crosses over it. They'll both retrograde back over it again. This is like getting multiple sweeps through all of 2025 over the 0 point. Over the 0 point. I put all of these dates in our astrology deep dive. That's in membership. That's an hour and I think 45-minute video that goes month to month to month to month to month through all of this, like every single huge transit in 2025. And it's so funny for me to go back and watch it and go like, oh my God, I said it. Like I called it in March. And it's not that I called it. I'm just reading the astrology, right? I'm not like magical or special like that. I'm not claiming that in any way, shape, or form. But I'm even referring back to that astrology deep dive. So that's in membership. The full video series is in membership. If you just look for bones, we call our membership Living Close to the Bone, because it's like living razor's edge of truth, like soul fire kind of living. You'll find that below, and that's easily accessible. It's $59 for a full month of access. So then there's a lot of other content in there. I think there's 7 hours of content in there, including the eclipse deep dive is still in there too. So I did another deep dive just on the eclipse season. So if you're like, whoa, what were those eclipses? Because now hindsight's 2020. Going back and looking at those eclipse deep dives, amazing work to do. So that's just an option if you are feeling like, wow, I want to go deeper into this. And I also want the full year ahead. So that 2025 astrology deep dive gives you the full year ahead. It gives you exactly what's going on in April, May, June, July, August, September, the whole way through. Stunning. I've never even done one in that way before, but to me it was like, oh, of course, for 2025, it just supports 2025. Okay. So I won't get too stuck into the dates with things. You can dive deeper into that if you want to. But this 0 point, so we're on astrology point number 2 for what the fuck's going on in 2025 and why are things so wild. That's a big deal, this 0 point, and that's going to continue through. I do want to give you another date on this through, do I have the date out here? 2026. So I think it's in January, February of 2026 that Saturn and Neptune both make it into Aries finally. So I know this isn't great news, but it's truth. And the truth is what's going to help us through this year. So it's like endings, beginnings, back and forth over this 0 point, right? And it's not just like one swoop into it. It's multiple swoops into it. I want to talk a little bit more about Neptune moving into Aries and Saturn moving into Aries. So Neptune is the mystic in us. Neptune is the spiritual kind of side of us. Neptune can be like higher love, all is one. That just went into the sign of self. That's interesting. The all is one energy archetype, the mystic archetype, water, right? That's Neptune. The cloud of unknowing, that's Neptune. It's extraordinarily mystical, spiritual, can create illusion, delusion, right? Fog, but also just like higher visions and higher dreams, has just moved into the sign of self, Aries. Self. First sign of the zodiac, it's self. It's like, and you've been individuated. It's like being born. You can look at the signs, like, 1 through 12. And the first one is like, you're born. You've come from the other side of the world and now you're born. So to have that born, we've not experienced this before. Again, remember, this hasn't happened for 165 years. This is completely unknown territory. It's completely unknown territory. We don't know personally, individually, how that's going to manifest in us. So that I don't know. I know that I don't know. I'm very curious. And if you've worked with the archetypal energy of Neptune or Poseidon, you can really attune to that part of self and go, okay, this part of self is dancing in the sign of self now. All right, I'm getting a little in the weeds. Let me dial it back in. Feel free to fast forward through parts if I like go too deep into something. There's just so much here. All right, let me move into Saturn. Now, this is going to make a little bit more sense. So Neptune's hard to make sense because it takes mystic mind to understand Neptune. And Neptune is an outer planet, so it's a little bit more unconscious. It's a little bit further out. It's a little bit more impersonal. Whereas Saturn, you ready for this? I'm going to talk about this, and this is going to make a lot of sense. This is going to get real personal real quick because Saturn's a personal planet. Saturn, interestingly enough, sits between that which is unmanifest and that which is made manifest. Saturn sits right there. Saturn, you could look at Saturn as he who brings it into reality. He who brings it into reality. He who brings the dreams into reality. He who brings thoughts and inspiration into physical, tangible expressions in this world. If you want to think about manifesting, you want to think about Saturn. Saturn is your person to work with, your archetypal energy to work with. When you think about reality, creating in reality, manifesting in the physical world in life, bringing something that is untangible into the tangible. Anytime you want to make a vision come true, a dream come true, Saturn is your gatekeeper. Saturn is your doorway. Now, Saturn is on a wild ride. We're going to get into astrology point number 3. We're going to get off this 0 point in a second and talk specifically about how Saturn's getting an ass walloping. Saturn is literally being up-leveled, upgraded, completely smashed to come into a higher expression of Saturn. It's stunning. It's stunning from an archetypal standpoint. It's stunning what's going on. This is like an emerging expression of Saturn that we're going to watch happen in 2025. Yeah. So that means ourselves, the Saturn in ourselves. So the Saturn in you is that which brings it into reality. Those of us who are really good at making things manifest, we typically have a very strong Saturn. We've done our Saturn work. We have a really high level, healthy relationship to Father Time, Lord of Karma. That's also Saturn, right? To the disciplinarian. He is disciplined. He's disciplined. He's framework. He's structure. He understands the laws of reality. And those of us who have good relationships with him, we can work with those laws of reality to make things happen, to bring things into physical form, to attract things into our lives, to create things into our lives, to make our goals happen, make our dreams come true. I know, like, isn't that wild? It's wild to me. Anyways, Saturn could be like your doorway. Saturn, you might be listening to this and going like, holy shit, Saturn's my dude. Like, oh my God, I wonder if maybe we'll work with Saturn in membership in our May 1st workshop. We'll see what happens. But those of you in Bones, maybe just like put a little pin in that. Or those of you who might be joining to do the astrology deep dive that's sitting in membership in Bones, maybe we'll do a little bit of Saturn work. I think it's just so key. Actually, we probably will, because that'll set us up for May and Saturn's shift into Aries. I think this will be really good. So, all right, let's move a little bit into Saturn changing signs is changing the way that you manifest. It's like the tools that you worked with previously and how you made things manifest, how you worked with reality, it's changing. So it's shifting because he's now in the energetics of Aries, which is faster. It's faster. It's a fire sign. He's moving out of water, Pisces, where he had a real hard time because Pisces is like anti-reality. It's anti-physical form. So isn't that interesting? So over the last couple of years, because he changes signs every couple of years, over the last couple of years, we've had a hard time. Our Saturns have been in watery Pisces. Very hard to get traction, hard to bring things into reality. For some of us, we're really attuned to that though. For some of us, our Saturn operates really, really well in the mystical realms, really, really well in the Piscean, watery fish realms, right? Now, for some of us, Saturn is going to work really, really well in Aries, fire, right? Fire, pioneering, out front, moving forward, pioneering something. That's Aries energy, right? So that will be, though, a shift for all of us. So no matter if that's going to be, something that is kind of organic and natural to us, it's a shift, it's a change. And we haven't seen that for decades. We haven't felt the manifestor in us operating in Aries in decades. I don't know the year. I haven't calculated all that stuff out. You can go, when was the last time Saturn was in Aries, if you want to look back to when that was. But that's a big deal. Now, let's go into the third astrology point, which has to do with Saturn. Saturn just sextiled Uranus on April 4th. So last weekend, over the weekend, this is April 8th that I'm filming this. I don't know when this will come out, in a couple days. But what was going on? Here's a practice. Mark this one. Do this one. This one's really important. If you don't do any practices out of this video, do this one. Let me say that again. If you don't do any other practices or any other suggestions, do this one. What was going on over the weekend around April 4th? Either day before, day of, or day after. What were you working on? What was alive? I like that question. What was alive for you? What was really alive? What was really hot? Were there any breakthroughs? Anything that was new? Anything that you started, for me, we came up with a whole new business structure in ReWilding, completely new. It's completely new. It's blowing my mind. It's completely new. That's for me. But for you, what was going on? Was there an inkling into the new? What was alive? What was hot? Where are you being asked to make change? Uranus, change, revolutionary, the new, bringing in the new, sextile, positive aspect, Saturn, reality. How is your reality changing? How is something in your physical world reality? How is something in your physical world? What in your physical world? So this is going to tell you what essentially the rest of 2025 is going to point to. One aspect of what the rest of 2025 is going to point to. You're working on something. You're bringing something. You're revolutionizing something. You're bringing something into the new. This might be your health. This might be your spirituality. This might be your relationship. This might be your home. This might be something you're creating. This might be your work. It can be anything. Anything. You can look at where Saturn is in your birth chart. So look at the house that Saturn is currently in your birth chart. So he's in Pisces right now. What is that house? And that can point to the area of life. So if you're like, I don't know what was hot over April 4th, we have a free masterclass if you don't know how to run your birth chart or look for the house that Saturn's in. We have a free masterclass, totally free. You can run a free birth chart and I talk you through exactly how to look up Saturn and the house that he's in, how to look at where transiting Saturn is right now, which is the final degrees of Pisces, and what house that is in your birth chart. The house that it is in your birth chart is the area of life that will be getting walloped for being revolutionized, being brought into the new. Very powerful to look at that for ourselves individually. So Saturn sextile Uranus, positive aspect. Uranus is an awakener. Uranus is revolutionary. Uranus is going to bring that thing, that area of life into the new. But here's the deal. It's not just, it happened on April 4th. Great. It's happening 3 times. Because of retrogrades. So 3 times Saturn is going to sextile Uranus. Now, this is bringing a whole lot of things in the world because it's not just what's happening in your life. It's happening all across everything, right? This is bringing a whole lot of things into the new, a whole lot of things in physical reality, pioneering them into new, revolutionizing them. up-leveling them, upgrading them, awakening them into the new, into the new, into the new, into the new. And if you've been through a Uranus midlife transit, you know that Uranus takes no prisoners. Uranus is like the shock and awe. I will come out of left field and I will fucking move you through the change that you need to make because I am a radical revolutionary. I will move you through that into the new. Whether you go kicking and screaming or you go, right? Here's a tip. If you go from a state of openness, curiosity around what's around this corner, things are changing, and I'm going to keep attuned with highest and best. There's a real good tip. I'm going to keep attuned to highest and best, highest and best, highest and best. I might not know what that is, but highest and best, stuff's changing. I've accepted that. I'm attuning to my highest and best path, my highest and best path. I may or may not know what that is. When I do get a little insight or a breadcrumb on the breadcrumb trail of highest path forward, I'm going to take it. That's the greatest thing that we can do in all of 2025 is we can stay attuned to highest and best. We can stay positive. We can stay in a state of love instead of fear, right? We can stay open to change, come into next right relationship to change, stay open, breadcrumb, every little intuition, guidance we get, right? Listen, test it a little bit, like you want to test it. It's like know thyself, know exactly what your intuition sounds like when it's, coming from like a little self place potentially, or when it really is genuine intuitive guidance for your highest path forward, right? So we definitely want to like check it and then we want to follow it. Now, my sense, this is what I'm seeing in my life for sure, and in a lot of people who are close to me, their lives, is it's like micro baby steps of what we're getting. It's not huge leaps down our path. It's little baby steps. It's little baby steps because so much is in flux, right? So all that we can really get from wise place is little baby step. And then it's because everything is so in flux and it's all changing so quickly, right? All the tectonic plates are shifting beneath, like little tiny baby step. And then it's like, everything's all changing. And then it's like, okay. And then you kind of got to wait until the next little baby step comes. And they're like tiny, almost little micro steps because it's such rapid transformation. I was listening to two very well-known astrologers this morning saying, we haven't seen these times in 10,000 years. Astrologically, we haven't seen these times in 10,000 years. I don't know about that. Like, I haven't studied 10,000 years worth of astrology. I have no freaking idea. I know I've never seen this in my lifetime. I know I've never felt this. I've never looked at the astrology and gone like, holy, wow. And then you look at the next month, the hits just keep on coming. Whether it's true or not, we haven't seen this in 10,000 years. But you got, it's still intense. It's still really big. It's still really important. And to me, it's also a real opportunity. I weirdly thrive in chaos. I do. I'm one of those people who I have like real good aspects in my chart to Eris, goddess of chaos, to Sekhmet, right? Like these archetypal energies that they see that creation comes out of chaos. Everything gets created out of chaos. Like real understanding that really the only way to change and to transform a society or a culture or a political system or myself is through disintegration of self, is through a death of sorts of self, of that system, of that structure. And we typically don't do super well with death. We typically don't do super well with death. If we can get really good with death, maybe I'll put this on the list of ways to support self through 2025 is get good with death. I'm not saying death of humans, although there will be a lot of people checking out this year, for sure. That's their change. That's their transformation. That's them going over 0 point. I'm moving over 0 point. I'm going to really make the big transition. So getting good with not just change, but also the endings of things, the death of things, the dissolving of things, the disintegration of things, the collapse of things, getting good at letting go. getting good at letting go. This year is the year of the wood snake, the great shedding, it's the great letting go. But the snake, right? The snake sheds its skin so gracefully. So gracefully. If there's a meditation or a practice that I can share off of that is, I did an episode, the Great Shedding of 2025. If you haven't seen that, you might want to, or even if you have seen it, you might want to revisit it. Real good now that we've hit the shit. We've hit what we said we were going to hit, is times of deep shedding. But it's this real gift of the serpent to show us, open us to a way that change, transformation, shedding, letting go is easeful. It can be easeful. It can be really, really easeful. Much more easeful than we've maybe done it before. It's just like beautifully like slithers out of its old skin. Can we beautifully slither out of our old skin? Or do we need to go kicking and screaming, get all ego involved in it? Safety, security gets kicked up, and we're not taking real good care of our psychic hygiene. And so we got all kinds of projections being puked on top of us. And, we haven't like taken our space and meditated on like what's actually going on. And we're not really aware, like, oh my gosh, not even knowing that you're in a time of great shedding. To me, another one of the great things that we can do to support ourselves this year is to be so aware of self, to make more space than we've ever made for what is going on for you. What is your intuition saying? What is going on for you, right? To have soulful conversations, to really speak to, write about, meditate on what is alive for you. Where are you at? What's being asked? Are there any breadcrumbs on the breadcrumb trail? What are the changes to be made? How can I bring myself into the highest state of health? Mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, physical health. What can I do to bring myself into the highest state of those 4 levels of health? And then we got to do it, we got to do it, which is what I like about Aries, and a lot of things shifting into Aries, right? Mercury will go into Aries, Venus will go into Aries, Neptune is already in Aries, Saturn is already in Aries. It's like do. Aries wants to do something, like we're going to take action. It's an action. Let's take some action. Okay. Let's go back to this third astrology point that we're talking about, which is the Saturn-Uranus sextile. So this is that positive, new, revolutionizing change that's happening. Remember, you could look at what house that's happening for you in. If you just look at like where Saturn is right now, final degrees of Pisces, look at your astrology chart. Where is that? What house is that? That is being completely reworked. So this sextile happens April 4th, August 11th, and January 19th. Those are the 3 dates. April 4th, August 11th, January 19th. April 4th is the first time. On April 4th, when this happens, this is why I gave you that practice of reflect back on what are the events, what are the decisions, what are the developments, what house is it happening in for you, what's going on, because that's going to give you like the theme, the thing that you're looking at for this particular transit. Now there's other transits that are going on. You can go do the deep dive and you can see some of these other transits that are playing out throughout 2025, but I want to focus on kind of like what's present here and now. Again, that deep dive is in Bones membership, blah, blah. You'll find details below. So the August 11th one is a time to whatever was going on there. It's a time to then retrograde words. So a time to reevaluate, reassess, review, revise, rejuvenate, renew, right? So it's like that same area, this Pisces, right? This is like Pisces territory, this area of life, whatever it was that you're working on, thinking about, making some changes on, where it's being revolutionized, you're being brought into the new. Now, it doesn't just have to be that house or that thing. I want to point that out too. So it's a lot of new happening in our lives. So just be open, don't get like so stuck on, well, it's in my 4th house, so it has to be this territory only. Blah, 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 blah. Trust your intuition first, like trust your wise self first, right? And really be this observer of life, of your life, observer of you, you become like the greatest student to yourself. So on August 11th, like more will be revealed around that. So just here's what I want to share around this is we might think we got it. And I have to check myself on this. You know, I'm saying this to myself as much as I'm sharing this as a tip for any of us is we might think we have it, but know that you're going to revise it. And then again, on January 19th, you're going to be able to look back. Hindsight's 2020 now, and it's either improve on the changes we made into the new or course correct a little bit into the new. So I'm sharing this because for me, it's very important to be so open to not getting so stuck in, wow, this is the pivot I'm making. This is the change I'm making, because so much is still moving. All the tectonic plates are shifting through all of 2025, And to be so okay to go, this is how it feels. And to be so okay that things changed. And then maybe August 11th, I'm just giving you transits. It doesn't have to be these days, but maybe come that time, you're like, whoa, actually looking back now, I can like see this from another angle, right? Because it's still this Saturn sextile Uranus. I can see this from another angle. This is a little, this is what I'm now seeing to review, to revise, right? To revise, to reevaluate, to readjust, to shift, to make a pivot. So letting ourselves almost, I'll say this for myself, you feel for what's true for you, but it's like letting ourselves have a year, 2025, a year of like experimenting. It's almost like a year of play into the new, like play with, well, let me try this, and not getting really stuck in it because shit's going to change so much that it could have been totally true and it could have been the exact thing that served that moment, but it changed. And being so okay to make that pivot, to make that change. Okay, so that's the Saturn-Uranus sextile. I've already talked about Saturn going into Aries in May. We talked about that, May 24th. That's that creation point, right? Like going over the 0 point. That's a big deal. Then let me I want to kind of scroll through some of this stuff. Some of this stuff like points into 2026. And I know that we're already getting like well and truly into this conversation. This is a long episode. So I'm going to cut that stuff out. We'll save that for another episode, like into 2026, but I'll wrap it up like this. And then I want to give you the themes, like how to work with this energy. And things to feel into, like what really resonates with you as this is really alive. This is the thing or the things that is really going to support me in this. So the rest of 2025, it's going to be this, let me feel for some really good words. It is chaos. It's chaos, right? Out of chaos comes creation though, right? It's got to get wild to break things down in reality. Right? It's like, it's energetically been wild. We've energetically been talking about it for a while. So it's been out here. But now with the Saturn piece, it's now the rubber hits the road. It's now happening in the physical. So we're now seeing it. Tucker's over here. That's who you can hear walking around. He's like, hey, it's been a while. It's time. We're going to wrap it up soon. Tucker's my dog, by the way, if you haven't seen him. He's on a lot of videos on Instagram and like YouTube shorts. He's always scrolling around with me in those. But really letting ourselves have 2025 as an opportunity. Here's the other piece I want to share with us. It's not to not do anything. It's like this beautiful moment in time where we're planting seeds, but we're so okay for those seeds to not know what those seeds are going to turn out to be. It's like you got a mixed bag of seeds from a friend, right? And you're like, well, I know I need to plant these seeds. I don't know if this is an apple tree or a flower or a fig tree. I don't know what these seeds are, but I'm going to plant them. And then I'm not exactly sure how much sunlight or water they need or, what kind of fertilizer they need. I don't really know, but I'm going to be so open to reading the moment. I'm going to be so open to being so present, reading the moment, watching the moment. I'm going to be here. This is not a year to just like space out and bury our head in the sand. It's not a year for that. It's too Saturn. It's too Saturnian. This is about real possibilities to create some amazing shit in our lives, to create some amazing shit in the world. I know I'm talking very personally, but this is an opportunity between now and I would say February of 2026, right? Because there's still January 19th, there's still that stuff going on. And then we've got in February, we have the Saturn Neptune conjunction on February 20th. Then March 28th, we have the Saturn Pluto sextile, right? Saturn. But come like February of next year, it's a different energy. It's different. And I don't want to say it like this, but I'll say it like this. Don't miss this window. But to dance well in this window, you've got to be willing to dance 85 different dances because the music is going to be changing a lot. So one day it's going to be the salsa, the next day it's going to be the tango, and then you're going to be doing the waltz, right? And to be able to watch that garden grow of seeds that you're planting, whether they be relationship seeds or they be home seeds or they be work seeds, to watch those seeds grow and go like, oh, it's an apple tree. Shit, I need to like dig that up and replant that. It needs more sunlight. It needs more space. I planted it too close to the lemon tree and they're going to mess each other up. It's like that. So we want to plant seeds and we want to take little steps forward, little baby steps forward, but we want to be able to adjust and we want to be able to pivot, reading the energy of the moment and adjusting to the moment. However you can set up your life to be able to act, to be able to be spontaneous. You know, how can you set up work? How can you set up home? How can you set up family, travel, all that stuff to be able to like change, because it's all about change this year, to be able to change your mind, change directions, to be able to serve the moment, read the moment, serve the moment, read the moment, serve the moment, read the moment, serve the moment. And when we're really locked into old structures, this is Saturn getting walloped. Saturn's getting walloped. Old structures, time, like hard time, structure, like deep, long-term structure. That's not happening this year. It's way too much with Uranus hitting Saturn. Way too much. Saturn is just getting hammered with the sextile Uranus, sextile Pluto. It's too much with his shifting back and forth. This is the Saturn upgrade. It's the Saturn upgrade. So being so okay that structure is loose so that the new can be formed. That's it. Letting structure be loose so that the new can come into play, and being able to adjust structure, shift structure so that we can hold the new, whatever that new is for you. Right? And this is the new earth. This is the new human. This is the year. Everything up to this has been a setup. We've been talking about this for years. New earth, new human. I remember doing new earth priestess in one of our priestess trainings, right? It was very much, but it was very much in the energetics. It was still very much in the energetics. Now it's here. Now Saturn's bringing it into reality. Now it's here. It's being made manifest into reality. The gatekeeper of reality is now participating. So new earth, new human, new life, new you, new whatever. It's here. How can you support that? So here's a couple of things that I've got for us. I'll close on these themes. Before I do that, invitation to join me live in London. We're live in London in June. We're also live in Sydney. There's early bird deals that are going on right now through May 15th. We also, I don't know if this will be up when you see this or not, but we also just decided, because of wild times that we're in and so many people asking us for tickets for another event in the US, which we're not going to do a weekend event in the US. We're not doing any other events other than the 3 that we have on the books, which is 2 in Australia, 1 in London. That's it for 2025. We need to just be able to like, pivot and do everything that I spoke about in this conversation. We need to be able to do that in the ReWilding team. But so many people have asked us, would love to make it to London or Sydney, can't do the travel. And now with just the times being so wild and so weird and markets crashing and such uncertainty and such unknown, we just decided to open London up virtually. So if you want to journey ReWilding your life for a weekend, which to me is going to be ridiculous. ridiculously supportive to 2025, to this energy that we're in, right? This energy that we're in, it's reading the moment, and it's exactly delivering to the moment of what serves us in that event, both those of us in person and those of us journeying virtually, what exactly serves us the most in these wild times. So we opened up virtual tickets just this week. I don't even know if they're going to be up by the time this goes out. But as soon as they are up, we'll announce that. And Bones is our place to be. It's our place of love. It's our place of doing aligned online journeys on the 1st of every month. And like I said, we'll probably do a little bit of Saturn work in the May 1st workshop. There's the eclipse deep dive. There's the 2025 astrology deep dive. The energy of that space continues to blow me away. We've been holding that space for years now, and just the vortex of Shakti that it holds, right? The wisdom energy that it holds, the intentions that it holds, and just plugging into that is life-changing. Never mind having to do the work. You don't even have to go to a workshop for the energetics to influence and to support you from a place of living close to the bone. All right. You'll find all the details for that stuff below. Let's do these themes. So here's the themes that'll really support this. This is a little in your face, but I'll say it like this. Are you acting as a victim to current circumstance, or are you acting as a creator? Are you creating with current circumstances, right? How empowered are you choosing to move through this? And know you have choice, like own that choice. I have choice. I have choice. I have choice to move through this as a conscious co-creator with exactly what's going on in this moment, because I can co-create with it and I can create magic out of it. And there is magic available, but I have to attune to that. Or is it woe is me, gloom and doom? And I know that can be hard. So find the spaces that shift you into co-creator empowered space. Maybe that's Bones. Maybe that's Rewild Your Life in London. Maybe it's something else, but really being so aware of when you're tanking, because we're all going to hit those spots where it's victimy, where it's like, woe is me, where it's, oh my God, what the going on. Reach out, find some support, get in a group, join something, read something, listen to something, call someone, like being so aware of when we're tanking, and then consciously choosing to untank, right? And what is it that you do to untank? And you shift back into empowered co-creator with the present moment, no matter what it is that's being delivered. I think I want to end on that. I think that that's good. I already talked about these being flexible, being adaptable, coming into next right relationship with the unknown, coming into next right relationship with change, short-term plans, right? Like little breadcrumb trails, it's little tiny little steps, typically being okay to pivot as stuff changes. Psychic hygiene, really watching your energetic health. I said those 4 healths: your mental health, your emotional health, your energetic health, and your physical health. Next level self-care. To me, 2025 is essential next level self-care. And it's not just taking a bath and eating some vegetables, right? It's not that. It's really thinking across the board on supporting those 4 bodies. And you can even feel into more than just those 4 if you want to. And then last one, I'll leave this one as our final one is 2025 is also going to ask us to live from truth to a deeper place. Like truth. What's true for you? What's true for you? What's true for you? What's true for you? And the less that we lie to ourselves, the better off we're going to be. The less pain we're going to be in. The less that we numb something, sweep something under the carpet, the more truthful we are. Like so honest. Is your relationship not working? Be fucking honest about it. Is your job soul sucking? Be fucking honest about it. Right? From a place of this is just 2025 is asking us to live from a deeper, more authentic, true self place, like true full self, true full self, true full self, true full self, true full self place. All right. It's been amazing to be here with you. I would love to see you in the comments. If you feel to subscribe, that means you won't miss anything. Hit the notification button. Then you will always be notified of upcoming things. The full moon will be coming up next. Is it the full moon or is it the new moon? No, we're headed toward a full moon. The full moon episode will be coming up next. We'll have more of the specific moment energetics coming up. Plus, we're going to start doing a series on the archetypes, rewilding with the archetypes. So like Saturn, how I just said, do your Saturn work. We're going to start doing episodes on all of the archetypes archetypes. So you don't want to miss that. Would love to see you as a subscriber, and would love to see you in the comments. Would love to see you in Bones. Would love to see you in London or at the virtual event. Huge love to all of you, and happy wild 2025.